You're listening to North American Talk Radio, the all-new talk radio station featuring sports, movies, politics, mental health, and more. Check us out at natalkradio.com and subscribe today. Buy event tickets straight from our website to help the cause and get tickets to your favorite events for less. That's natalkradio.com.
Oh boy, we're back. Oh my God, we're back. We're rebooting it. What just happened? Of course, my regular co-host, if you've watched this in the past, said he was interested in bringing this show back, but he doesn't want to start till after the New Year's. So I'm going to do it alone. What just happened? What's different with this show? Well, for starters, we're not just going to talk sports. We're going to talk everything, politics, whatever you want to talk about. The other thing is we hope you get involved. You can comment on YouTube. All right. Hopefully you saw, we had a lot going on today on North American Talk Radio with Daily Dive, lots of comments. So make sure you catch them every day at 10 a.m. But this is what just happened. We're going to talk sports, politics, whatever we need. When my co-host is here, I'm sure he'll have crazy topics that have nothing to do with sports. So I can't wait for that. I'm the Gamble guy. I've got sports in the background here. Big NFL game tonight. A very important one. And, it'll kick off after the show. But yeah, feel free to comment. Geez, we already have one. Nice stogie. Thanks, Captain Lou. It is somebody asked me the other day when I was on Daily Dive, Oscar Villardis 2012. I've never lit it though. Actually, I think I've lit one of these before. This is just sit in my mouth. A fun fact. My dad used to have cigars, but he'd never light them. He said it would keep him awake as he worked late nights. So he just chew on them. I don't know. Seems weird. You know what also seems weird? All this outrage for Notre Dame. Are they really mad? Or do people really think Notre Dame is just whining and complaining and we didn't make the playoffs, so we don't want to play? Or maybe there's something else going on of why there's such outrage towards Notre Dame, because that's not a very big graphic, but we've got a new record now, 10 college football teams, not just Notre Dame, Florida State, Auburn, Iowa State, Kansas State, Baylor, Rutgers, Central Florida, Kansas, and Temple that have all opted out of bowl games. All right. First, it was the players. People were all up in arms when the players first started doing it. Then people kind of saw, okay, this guy's going to be drafted. Why is he going to play in the Allstate Insurance, Citrus Bowl, whatever the names are, the Idaho potato, mashed potatoes and butter and gravy, whatever bowl? They're meaningless bowls. I don't know. I don't care what anybody says. If you're saying they mean something for the small schools, let them play in them. If you're saying they mean something because the younger players get a chance to get on the field, okay, have scrimmages. But we know what the bowls are really about. I did an article years ago for a local newspaper. The schools have to sell 10,000 tickets. That's just an arbitrary number. I don't know if that's the actual number. The schools have to sell X amount of tickets, right? Tonight is the Xbox Bowl. Oh, great. The Xbox Bowl. Awesome. I have a PlayStation. I'm too old to have a video game system, right? But I did an article on this for a local paper years ago. So when you get invited to a bowl and you accept, you have to, your school's got to sell 5,000, 8,000, 10,000 tickets. Whatever tickets you don't sell, the school has to buy them. All right. The people running the bowl, the people airing the bowl, ESPN, are making their money. Oftentimes, schools lose money. I remember Michigan turned down a bowl not that long ago. I mean, I'm 52, so 15 years ago doesn't seem long ago to me, because they were going to lose money, right? So Notre Dame says, we don't want to play in this bowl game. Everybody's up in arms. Why? I think it's because all these ESPN guys are pissed because they wanted entertained by Notre Dame, right? I mean, there's 10 teams. We have a record number of teams that are opting out of bowl games. Why is everybody so pissed off at Notre Dame and only Notre Dame? If you're going to be pissed off at teams for opting out of bowl games, be mad at all of them. But I don't hear any of these ESPN guys getting mad at Rutgers for opting out of a bowl game or Central Florida. It's only Notre Dame that they're mad at. Well, I'm sorry, ESPN. We know who you're in bed with, right? So you wanted the teams in that you got in. Now we have James Madison playing Oregon. And we have Tulane playing Ole Miss. Tulane, by the way, lost by 35 to Ole Miss this season. So they were going to have a rematch in a playoff game. Playoffs between two teams that it was a 35-point deficit early in the season. While we have teams like Notre Dame that are expected to go play in the Idaho Potato Bowl, and they opted out, and ESPN's pissed because they're not going to sell all that advertising now. That's why they're mad. Because, again, I'll bring the graphic up. There's 10 teams opting out, and ESPN's only mad at one. There you go. Now, was Notre Dame's, I don't know, did they have to put out this official notice? Oh, I got a ladybug in the office. Who knows why they're opting out? They just decided we don't want to play in a meaningless bowl game. It's their prerogative. That's their business. They're allowed to make that decision, that determination, right? So they didn't say it's because we didn't make the playoffs. I mean, maybe they were facing a lot of players that weren't going to play in a bowl game. Maybe just had a lot of players. You know, you can have scrimmages. You can have side games. You can have spring games. I got to take a sip of Guinness. But this outrage towards just Notre Dame is hilarious. ESPN wanted entertained. ESPN wanted to make money off of Notre Dame. Notre Dame said, no thanks. We're going to move on. This is what you get. This is what you get. I don't know what they expected. By the way, I know what you should expect. I got to pull that off the screen. Sorry. So, as I get going here, we don't run a lot of commercials. We'll run some commercials on what just happened. My normal co-host, Falcon, he'll be on. We'll have a lot more to talk about. This might not go the full hour. I'm alone, man. And I have a sick dog downstairs. He's not sick. He had surgery, right? He's got scars. I'm nursing him back to health. Nursing him back to health. My dog had surgery, so I may not go the full hour. I'm here alone. But I'm going to tell you, when we get full force what just happened at the beginning of the year, when I have my co-host and everything, we're not going to run a lot of commercials. So if you want to help us out, we have products tagged to the show. Pretty cool ones, actually. A GoPro, Meta glasses. Actually, my co-host, his brother brought Meta glasses over once. They're actually kind of cool. Never thought I'd say that, but I'm not a big Meta glass guy. Myles Garrett jersey. You can find these. They'll pop up on the screen or they'll be in a description. A Blue Yeti, a nice candle, and then an espresso maker. You know what? I actually thought about buying myself an espresso maker for Christmas. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, though, because I thought to myself, let's be honest. When I get up in the morning and I make coffee, do I really want to get fancy with it, or am I barely awake? And I need to get that coffee pot running. Some of these machines are wild, right? You know, you drop the beans in it. I do have a grinder. I do have a French press. But these machines, one I was thinking about spoiling myself for Christmas, they're pretty unique. They're pretty high tech. You know, you can drop the beans in, you can steam. But I thought to myself, when I wanted to treat myself for Christmas. On an average day, am I really going to mess with this? Am I going to really want to mess with this? Or, maybe I'm just going to throw the grounds in the pot and pour the water in and hit start. That's probably, so I'm going to save my money on that. I'm talking about money. Notre Dame, again, back to Notre Dame. We know what's going on with ESPN, right? They got a huge hand. They have all the broadcasting rights of these bowl games. They're making a ton of money off the broadcasting, the advertising. The bowl organizers are making a ton of money off the tourism and the forced ticket sales of the schools involved. Everybody knows Notre Dame travels well. They're a universal international brand, right? Again, I'll bring up the graphic up a third time. We hit a record number of teams opting out of bowl games. But you don't hear a lot about the other teams. I actually had to research it before the show. You only hear the Herbies and the Ryan Clarks, the people like that on ESPN complaining about Notre Dame. That was their big ticket item for bowl games, right? Because now we have a 12-team playoff. That's what everybody cares about now, the 12-team playoff. So why are they so mad at Notre Dame? Because now they can't pit Notre Dame against somebody, 8-4, try to prove that Notre Dame didn't deserve the playoffs, or, just because the sheer number of people that are going to watch the game, the sheer number of people that would buy tickets to see the game, depending on where it was. That's what they're so mad about. Again, I don't hear them mad at Baylor. And we've got a record now. So we're up to 10 teams. I predict in about 5 years or so, the playoff will be larger. Playoffs, I think we're going to go to 16 eventually. You could argue, Texas, Notre Dame, there was some teams that maybe could have made it, right? I think we're going to 16, so those teams get in. One of Texas's losses was by 7 to Ohio State. All right, which was number one most of the year until they got out-coached. My friends disagree with me. They got out-coached by Indiana. All right, so that's one prediction. We're going to be at 16 teams within a few years. The other prediction is you're going to see mass opt-outs of bowl games by entire teams. You think 10's a lot now. You just wait. We've had also a record number of losing record teams be offered because of all these teams opting out. That's where college football is going. It's not a good place. We're not in a good place college sports-wise right now. Right? The portal's out of control. The tampering's out of control. We just saw, shucks. I wish I could remember the coach. College football coach said, it's the Wild West now all of a sudden. Every single one of my players is getting contacted by people as soon as the portal, we grow or draw nearer to the portal opening. Every player on my roster is being contacted. So what do you do? College sports is being ruined. I think eventually we got to go to contracts. You got to stick with teams. I know, there's I'm a Purdue grad in basketball. Yeah, we were ranked number one for a while. I don't think we're going to win the title this year. Iowa State just waxed us. But there's 4 teams that are really good that have guys that played for Purdue last year. I think Texas and Wake Forest are the 2 most notable ones. That's just near and dear to my heart. I'm just saying in general, the transfer portal is berserk. And then the tampering, as these coaches are starting to say, some of these established coaches are like, the tampering's out of control too in college sports. My backup left tackle is getting calls from rivals. They got to do something. That's my prediction. We'll be at 16 teams in no time. We're going to have mass opt-outs. The bowl games, I don't know if the bowl games will eventually go away. the MAC schools and stuff like that, it's nice for them to have a postseason game to play in. But I don't think you're going to see the big dogs playing a lot of bowl games, in my lifetime, which is saying a lot. I'm 52. I'm getting old. And I think at some point, the hand of somebody in a collection of people is going to be forced to move themselves closer to, contracts and, limited times to transfer where you can play right away. I mean, it's out of control. Speaking of out of control, this broke too much boozing. I mean, Ohio U fired their coach, Brian Smith, right? And they said it was from serious professional misconduct. And then everybody's like, well, what's that mean? And of course, on the internet, everybody's speculating. Well, he pulled a Sharon, they said. He pulled a Sharon Moore. Well, the good old internet never disappoints, right? People always jump to early conclusions and make things up. And then another guy I saw, I mean, the internet's a cesspool, so I don't take it too seriously. But another guy said, well, I just talked to two members of the team. It's because he had alcohol in his office and shared it with coaches. It's against policy. And somebody's like, yeah, sure. Who's your source? Trust me, bro. It's just everybody's angry online. Well, it did turn out afterwards, and we'll get into the alcohol aspect here in a minute, but it did turn out afterwards that might have been the reason, right? That he had alcohol stored in his office and he would offer it to assistant coaches after games. I'll get to that point here in a minute. But it also came out that possibly, because, and I say possibly, I'm giving it some kind of credit, because the specifics the person had online seemed like they had too many specifics to be just completely fabricated. But maybe, just maybe, he was also having an inappropriate relationship with a student. And if you know anything about Brian Smith, you know he's going through a divorce. Very possible. Ladies, if you're in your early 20s and you're a med student, what do you want with this guy? I mean, he's at Ohio U. He's not making that much money. And then I saw another guy say, and everybody's trying to make everything a controversy. We knew right away what Sharon Moore did, and we still don't know what this guy did. And somebody rightfully pointed out, one guy coaches for Michigan and had to be arrested because he was threatening to kill himself, his wife, and his mistress. The other guy coaches for Ohio U, which half of the Michigan fans think that's Ohio State because that's what they call them. And the guy didn't have to, nobody called 911, right? The school just decided they're going to fire him. So it's not like that, folks. It's not because he's white that we don't really know what happened. It's because the cops didn't need to be called. If it wasn't for, I think his first name's Justin, if it wasn't for Justin Spiro or the 911 call, I'm not sure we'd know what Sharon Moore did yet. Right? I didn't know he was cheating on his wife with a staffer. I had no idea. Not that I know all the news, but I'm just saying, if it wasn't for, I think he's a Michigan State guy, the insider, his last name's Spiro, S-P-I-R-O. I follow him on X. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't even had my feelers up that Sharon Moore might be fired soon, because he was talking about it, oh, geez, at least weeks, if not months before Sharon Moore was fired. Sorry. Blah, 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 blah. See, this is why I need a co-host. He'll be here after New Year's. But then the 911 call actually solidified it. All right, now we know why Sharon Moore got fired. But there's people online trying to make this a controversy that we don't know exactly what this coach did, Brian Smith, but we know what Sharon Moore did. And of course, they're trying to make it racist. Folks, that's not the case. I promise you. If we knew what this guy did, if somebody leaked that information, we would know it. Everything's out there. You can't hide dirty laundry anymore, right? That's why I think Brian Smith of Ohio U didn't do anything crazy. So let's get to the alcohol aspect of this, right? Because speculation is, and it sounds like it's going to be the actual case. He broke, now they said serious professional misconduct. So I'm guessing he was drunk in the locker room, drunk in the office. You might not agree with me. You might just think, oh, well, you're a problem too, gamble guy. But I know high school coaches that'll have beers in the office after a good game. It's not like they're feeding it, giving it to the players. So if this is why this guy was fired, I feel like he has a case against the university. I mean, maybe it's in their policy and he doesn't have a case against them. But what kind of Mickey Mouse university is this that a grown-ass man can't go into his professional office? I work in corporate America. We've had drinks in the office. You don't take a drink at 11 a.m. before a meeting, but we're talking about a football coach. 10, 11 o'clock at night, they just had a hard-fought win against whoever, Toledo. He pulls out a bottle of whiskey, and him and the coaches have, whiskey on the rocks. Is that why he was fired? Is that actual policy or in his contract? Was he an alcoholic before they hired him? Like, why is that even a clause in his contract? Like, Ohio U, come on. I didn't know Ohio U was this like big Christian college. I don't know. They're known for partying at Ohio U. In fact, Ohio U is known to be a party school. Hold, please. I'm having serious professional misconduct here. So I'm curious to see if that is indeed why he got fired, because that's pretty wild to me, right? That he would get fired for having alcohol in his office. Like, who knew that was such a big deal? I'm just checking. Okay, I'm just checking something on the side screen here. Sorry, I have screens everywhere. So there you go. Notre Dame opted out. Everybody's up in arms. When I say everybody, mostly ESPN, because they stand to lose money. And Ohio U mysteriously got rid of their coach under the guise of professional misconduct, but they wouldn't specify. And we have all kind of sleuths online weighing in on why they think that is. There you go. I told you this show's not going to have a lot of commercials, but it is the holidays. It is winter. Seasonal affective disorder is a real thing. The winter blues around the holidays, some people get very depressed. I know I have a friend. It'll be his first Christmas without parents. So he's going to come stay at the house. So this is a special commercial. That's why I'm playing it. And then we'll be right back in about 2.5 minutes. But again, this is what just happened. It's December 18th, 2025. I will normally have a co-host. Don't worry. I just wanted to get started tonight. It's my favorite time of year. I love Christmas and New Year's. So, and Thanksgiving. So we'll be right back. Bear with us. Happy holidays from Jeff Beck Health and Wellness. And you're seeing this on North American Talk Radio because the network is near and dear to my heart, kind of a passion project. I'm hoping you're having a great holiday season. Hopefully it's not too cold where you're at. The snow has melted here in Ohio. You can see in the background. But I wanted to extend a warm welcome and let you know that, if you're dealing with weight management, behavioral change, stress, depression, relationship issues, I am a certified health and wellness counselor trained via Cornell and Yale, and I am a nutritional coach trained via the NASM. And I would love to extend an opportunity for you to reach out. JeffBeckWellness.com is my website, or JeffBeck101021 at gmail.com is my email. we're offering a free initial consultation, no charge to you. Once we go into full counseling, I can help you submit that to your insurance company or your employer. Many employers reimburse for these types of services. So, we all deal with things from time to time. Please reach out, jeffbeckwellness.com, or email me, jeffbeck101021 at gmail. And I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're enjoying the current programming you're watching on North American Talk Radio. Keep your head up. Be friendly. Be happy. And again, I hope it's a great winter for you and a great holiday season. Take care.
You're listening to North American Talk Radio, the all-new talk radio station featuring sports, movies, politics, mental health, and more. Check us out at natalkradio.com and subscribe today. Buy event tickets straight from our website to help the cause and get tickets to your favorite events for less. That's natalkradio.com. Thanks for listening.
Whoops. Cut to the camera too soon. Oh, my bad.
Can I offer you a nice egg in this trying time?
Yes, I need a nice egg in this trying time. What just happened? December 18th. I'm a bit rusty. My co-host is not here. I see some viewers are coming and going. Yeah, pop in, pop out. We're going to talk politics too. We talk a little bit of everything. That's the kind of the new twist of what just happened, is we don't just talk sports. I know the Falcon, my co-host coming after New Year's, is he loves to talk all kinds of topics. Hell, he'll probably talk. He might not want me to say it on air. We'll talk a lot of topics on this show once I get my co-host. Once again, I did mention at the beginning of the show, we try not to run too many commercials. So, in the YouTube description, we've tagged some products that we are proud of or like. It does give us a little street credit with YouTube, or you can go to our website, natalkradio.com, click the event tickets tab on the menu, and that's all you got to do. We get credit with them too, and then pick out some tickets to your favorite events. It doesn't cost you more. It's the same price. It's just telling them that you got there via North American Talk Radio. So, they throw us a bone here and there. That's all. That's all you got to do. It's not a big deal, right? Speaking of not a big deal, can anyone in this godforsaken society pay respects to the fallen with some grace, right? Take sides if you will, but we've had some notable deaths this year. And shout out to Greg Biffle. Tragic news today. This isn't what I'm talking about, but it did break right before I went live. Retired NASCAR driver, his wife and kids were on a private plane to go see a friend. The plane crashed. They died. It's sad, right? And we've had other notable deaths this year. The two most notable, Charlie Kirk was murdered on camera. Not that made it worse. I mean, it's bad either way. And we had... Oh, what the hell I just heard. We had is there a ghost in here? We had a lot of people that, you can call them on the left, celebrating that death, that murder, which was despicable. And then, Rob Reiner and his wife tragically murdered by their son. And we'll get into some of that too, because when I'm not playing this character, I'm a health and wellness counselor. You saw the commercial. So there's something to be said about, what's going on with their son. Doesn't matter now. He's probably never going to be a free man, and his parents are dead. Right. So our president, who's supposed to be a unifier, right? I don't care. Honestly, I don't care what Rob Reiner has said about you, right? He's not a politician. He's never going to run against you. You have a lot of critics. I mean, you got 52% of the vote? Something like that. So 48% of the country does not like you. Right? You have a lot of critics. But when you're sitting in that seat and a film icon gets brutally and tragically murdered by his son, like, this is your chance to show some humility, to show some compassion, some empathy, right? I was kind of rooting for you to do that. I was kind of just hoping, please. Well, fuck me. Right? Well, fuck me, because of course he didn't. Of course he didn't. They call this a backhanded, well, you've heard of backhanded compliments, right? This is a backhanded condolence. That he has to go on and make it about him. Right? It's sick. It's sick what happened on the left when Charlie Kirk got murdered. Nobody's disputing that. But a lot of those people are just shitheads on the internet, right? They're not important. They're certainly not the leader of the free world. Certainly not. Okay? You are. Okay? Currently, I believe we're the most powerful country on the planet, and you're the president. So who gives a shit what some colored-haired student at Cornell, since I have a certificate from there, I said Cornell, but whatever university, went online and praised Charlie Kirk getting killed? Are you saying you're the same as that person? Or are you not the president and we expect a little bit more? I mean, this tweet is insane. Who does this? I mean, the guy just got tragically and brutally murdered by his own child. You don't have to say a word, and we'll imply, okay, your family dynamic is way better than his. None of your kids, they're all successful, they're all professional, they're not going to murder you, as far as we know. That's all you don't even have to point that out. We already know that. We already see how successful your kids are. Your family dynamic is better. But no, you have to make everything about yourself. Like, what the fuck? You're the president, man. I was so disappointed to see this. We just can't. And, I saw a lot of people. I'm a middle of the road guy. I know everybody says that's a cop out. I really am. I've voted both ways my entire life. I don't buy in. I don't buy into, okay, I'm this, so I'm always going to vote that way. There's crazies on both sides. There really is. And we have a president that a movie and film icon got murdered by his own son, and he's, due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with the mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome. What are you doing? What are you accomplishing with this? This is helping nobody. We can't do it, man. We can't. And when my caption says, "Can anyone pay respects with grace?" I'm going to be fair. I'm pretty sure I didn't bring the video in for today's show. Since we're talking about Rob Reiner and President Trump and Charlie Kirk, I'm pretty sure Rob Reiner was on live TV, much more professional, much more gracious towards Charlie Kirk about how much of a tragedy it was. Here's the thing I'm trying to tell the president. Nobody for a second thinks Rob Reiner agreed with anything Charlie Kirk said. But he didn't have to point it out in his condolence to the family that their dad was murdered on live TV. Come on. We got to be better than this. We've got to be better than this. We really do. This is not a sustainable way of living. It's just not. I'm behind schedule. No, I'm not. I'm right on schedule. All right. Dude, there's a lot to unpack here. Dan Bongino, less than a year. Out. Sorry, I pulled up. I had to bring up a few things here. So Dan Bongino again was appointed FBI deputy director under Director Kash Patel. We all know Dan Bongino, huge podcaster. So a few things were going on. First of all, he was in an interview not very long. I mean, he hasn't even been deputy director for very long. It's less than a year. But I'm guessing on the time frame. A month or two ago, he was talking about how grueling it is. You know, he doesn't see his family very much. He's constantly working. I mean, it kind of comes with the territory. I don't know why anybody would want to do it. I thank God there's people that do want to do it. I know Bongino was making millions as an influencer and a podcaster, whatever he was labeled, TV personality. He wanted to help the country with, a lot of the fraud and drain the swamp, as the slogan goes. So people are kind of surprised by this, that less than a year in, he's resigning. So we pulled up some reasons why. Now, I had some coworkers, my phone's downstairs, wondering, does this go beyond the family aspect, the marriage aspect? Because he was, again, in an interview saying he barely sees his family. His wife and kids live elsewhere while he's in D.C. My theory to the group is, I don't think Dan Bongino's too excited about the way the Epstein files have been handled. I know he talked a lot about it before he was appointed, about how excited he was. I listen to snippets of his podcast. I don't listen to every podcast out there. I just have a handful I listen to, and I try to listen to ones that aren't overly political. I do like Bill Maher, Joe Rogan, the staples. But anyway, I've heard snippets. I think he was pretty excited, very excited, to become the FBI deputy director because he thought he was going to make a difference. And then he got into the swamp, right? I mean, it's going to bite you, folks. I mean, we all have these aspirations, right? I mean, I have aspirations. I want to, sometimes I think, I could run this company. What happens if tomorrow they say, okay, you're our guy, be at the office tomorrow? Is everybody prepared for what's under the hood? Right? The company looks great to me from the outside. I feel like maybe they're missing a piece or two. I get there, I find out there's all kinds of infighting, and this person's getting kickbacks, and this person's butting heads with this person, and you get under the hood, you see it's not as easy as you think it is. And I think he got under the hood, and I think he saw just how deep the deep state goes. He saw just how much influence money has, just how much influence international sources have. And that's my theory. Now, some of the other, kind of notable things that happened while he's, served his time so far, his short time, he's had some clashes with Pam Bondi, right? And the Justice Department over the handling of the potential Epstein files, which is what I mentioned beginning, right? I don't think he's too excited about the way that's been handled, because we were told during the campaign, they would come out swiftly, and we would know exactly what happened, who's on it, who's in it. That didn't happen, right? That didn't happen one bit. And if he's constantly clashing with these people and he feels like all of a sudden he's still an outsider, he's in the seat, but he's still kind of an outsider, that's going to have an effect, especially when you're not seeing your family. You feel isolated. He was criticized. I'm reading over here. He was kind of criticized, he and Kash Patel, for the missing video from the cell. I don't think that led to this. Again, my theory is the time away from family, Epstein files, is the two main reasons. They say some people think he's facing a lot of challenges reconciling his past provocative commentary with his law enforcement role. I don't know. That's speculation. And then, of course, reports of frustration with the job's demands and personal toll. I think that's it. I don't think there's anything deep or cryptic about this. Honestly, I don't think we need to read too much into it. I think he kind of told us in that interview. He never sees his family. He never sees his kids. He's not happy about how the Epstein files were bundled or boggled. He fights with Pam Bondi a lot. And he, I think, has noticed firsthand just how deep the deep state goes. There you go. Bongino's out less than a year. We'll see who takes over. Boom. Speaking of taking over, this is wild. Tua was sacked by his coach. So I saw a great question on this. I didn't think I had anything up about it here. I saw a great question about this. So going forward, who does the front office of the Dolphins side with? Do they side with the coach or do they side with the quarterback? That's going to be the problem, right? I'm going to pull up the Dolphins here. Pull up their page. Of course, it doesn't talk about it. Really? You shitting me? Well, I do want to bring up stats, so that's okay. We're going to bring up stats. We look at Tua's numbers. This is a terrible website. I mean, seriously, this is terrible. This is the best we have. So Tua he's got 20 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. He's an 88.45 rating, 2,660 yards. He's coming off a 2 touchdown, 1 interception effort in a 13-point loss to the Steelers, where he was 22 at 28. That's a good percentage. I don't know that we should be faulting him. But yeah, there you go. So who are they going to side with? That's the question, right? I hate their website. So we're gonna pull this up. We'll pull up some news. So Quinn Ewers, former Texas quarterback, is going to take over. I don't think that's the answer either. Here's the funny thing about the NFL, right? And I noticed this with my Cleveland Browns. You can't see it in the camera. It's right up there. Cleveland Browns hat. We drafted 2 quarterbacks. We had Watson, Flacco, Gabriel, Sanders at the beginning of the season, even Kenny Pickett. I mean, Christ, I think we had 6 quarterbacks on the roster preseason. And the Cleveland fans and media don't like any of them. I'm doing the same thing to the Dolphins. Like, they're benching Tua, so they're not satisfied with him. They're bringing in Quinn Ewers. I don't think he's the answer. It takes a special breed to be a successful quarterback in the NFL, or the right situation. Because I'm going to give Michael Carvelis of North American Talk Radio some credit. He loves Daniel Jones. He has from day one. Daniel Jones looks like a completely different quarterback with the Colts versus the Giants. So I don't know, but that's interesting in the NFL. You have to almost be a certain stature, big, strong guy. Tall, from a certain system in college. It's just a lot of guys fail to try to play quarterback in the NFL. And I find that interesting. There you go. Tua. Now, the thing I'm going to say about Tua also is I want him to take this benching and take the opportunity to think long and hard, because I fear for the guy. right? I fear for him. He's had a ton of concussions. Take it from a guy, this guy, I've had 7 concussions, right? I played college football. That's not where I got all of them, but I've had 7 total. And I have some long-term issues with that. I have tinnitus. I think I got that from COVID, though. A constant ringing in the ears. I get severe headaches. Tua's, I'm sure, were worse than mine, right? I didn't play against too many future NFL guys. He plays in the NFL. Maybe take this moment. You should have enough money if you were smart with your investments. Protect yourself, protect your life, your longevity of life. So that would be my advice to Tua. Now that he's getting benched, maybe it's time to reflect and say, yeah, do I really want to stick around? Speaking of sticking around, segue. Are the Bears leaving Chicago? What just happened? Chicago Bears. Are they leaving Chicago? Hold on. Wouldn't that be wild? Apparently, Indiana's all for it. The governor of Indiana said, we're all for it. Come on over, because they're talking about going to Northwest Indiana. You might be asking yourself, what happened? What just happened? Right? Well, I think the team and Governor Pritzker, old Chubbs over there, I think they're arguing about if, Illinois, the government or the city are going to contribute anything. I mean, the team's putting up, I think I saw, they're willing to put up like $2 billion. And then they paid $197 million to buy the 326-acre former Arlington International Racetrack site, pitching a massive $5 billion mixed-use development anchored by a 60,000-seat stadium. So it'll be just more than a football stadium. But again, I think the team offered to cover most of those costs. They were asking the local government. So the $4.7 billion proposal was dead on arrival thanks to the $900 million in taxpayer dollars for the stadium and more than $1 billion in infrastructure costs, not to mention the high potential for litigation with Parkland advocates who successfully fended off George Lucas's Star Wars museum from breaking ground. So here's the thing. There's more than one thing on it. First of all, the team estimated some $855 million in public money would be needed for infrastructure costs to support the stadium. The team would cover the rest. But here's the thing. I'm going to make this political. Okay. So the government of Illinois warded off George Lucas having a museum, which would have been residual income through tax perpetually. And they fought that off because they didn't want to put upfront money. A state that taxes pretty high, it's pretty blue, pretty high taxes, especially in Chicago. Now they're fighting off. They're going to lose the Chicago Bears. I don't think they're going to. I think something's going to come of that. But again, the Bears committed to investing more than $2 billion into the stadium wherever it goes. So they were just asking the government to come up with $850 million, right? I know that sounds like a lot. These governments take in a lot, man. New York City alone this year has taken in over $6 billion from the federal government. Gives them, money or tax money collected from, residents from any state. But it's, the museum one gets me that the government would fight that off because that's, tax revenue forever. I guess you could argue so is the Bears Stadium being there. So now they're thinking about moving it. Indiana's governor is like, hell yes. Be the Indiana Bears. I don't understand. Now, I know Pritzker and local government said we have bigger fish to fry, but it's like every time you sons of bitches get involved in frying fish, you don't even know where to fish. The money always gets wasted. So Northwest Indiana is not far from Chicago. So I'm trying to pull up the line's weird here. Yeah, I mean, Gary, Indiana is right there. I don't think Gary, Indiana is really even that far from Chicago. Let's see. So it's not that big of a deal, right? 43 minutes. Because I was wondering, would they still be called the Chicago Bears? I wonder. That's a question. Will they still be called the Chicago Bears if they move? Yeah, they can't even go to Naperville or nothing like that. They have to go to Indiana if Illinois will not play. I mean, the South Bend Bears would be kind of low-key badass, right? Right? With Notre Dame in town. Wouldn't that be low-key badass? I don't know. What's not badass is the NBA Cup, which is kind of weird. The Emirates Cup. And it's so non-badass. The Knicks aren't even going to raise their banner. The Knicks aren't even going to raise a banner for it. All right. It's just the mid-season tournament that they do because they were losing viewers, and this is what the alien commissioner came up with. He kind of looks like an alien. I'm sorry. I mean, we'll go back to my can anyone pay respects with grace, but I'm not paying respects. He's alive. He looks like an alien. And this is what he came up with. Hemorrhaging viewers and interest in the NBA. He came up with the Emirates Cup, not even mid-season tournament, early season tournament. And then they give out a full trophy and everything. Knicks beat the Spurs. And then the Knicks are like, yeah, we're not gonna hang this banner at Madison Square Garden. And then Chuck, the outspoken Chuck Charles Barkley, I can't talk. Woo! It's been a long hour. He called the NBA Cup somewhat embarrassing, saying it's ridiculous that the league needs to pay players extra to make them take regular season games seriously. Yeah, that's the other thing. The NBA Cup pays, I thought I heard during the last game, $900K. Let's see. We're going to pull it up here. Sorry. Oh, I was way off. Players on the winning New York Knicks team received $530,933. Spurs got $212,000 per player. So now they're paying these guys extra. Yeah, you know, I'm going to have a headache. The NBA really just cracks me up. So these guys getting millions, right? They go into this load management thing where they take off 15 games a season, getting paid millions to play basketball. Fans get duped. They buy tickets months ahead of time, get to the arena. LeBron's not playing. Load management. And then they have this secondary tournament. They're going to pay the players extra. Why don't you just keep paying them what you pay them, but they have to incentivize them? Well, they are incentivized with their yearly salaries, and they still sit out games for no reason. Whatever. This is why I don't watch the NBA. I mean, if you do, more power to you. I don't hate the NBA. Come tournament time, I'm sure I'll tune in. It's just goofy, man. It's just goofy. It's a goofy league, very entitled. Everybody's about themselves. Whatever. I'm with Chuck. It's embarrassing. It's ridiculous that you got to offer these guys extra incentives with a midseason tournament to try to get fans more interested in your sport. It's just not happening. She's just not that into you, man. She's just not that into you.
Can I offer you a nice egg in this trying time?
You cannot. I think I'm going to cut this off. Man, my voice is hurting. My co-host isn't here. He'll be here after the New Year's, he said. I want to thank you for watching. I know a lot of people don't watch live. Other things are going on in the world. That's fine. I don't expect you to watch live. Thank you for Lou, Captain Lou Sports Network. Check him out on YouTube. He left a couple comments. We're going to be most Thursdays at 6:30, sometimes different times, probably later eventually. I want you to see the scrolling thing. Buy tickets from our website, natalkradio.com for North American Talk Radio. Event tickets on the menu. It's all you got to do is click event tickets. It goes straight to the ticketing platform. That's it. You don't pay extra. You don't have to do any special promo code. They just at that point, they know you came via North American Talk Radio. We do appreciate it. Gets us a little street cred. And then YouTube doesn't like us to mention it, but if you do gamble, I'm just going to let that scroll on the bottom. You get huge bonuses. I mean, huge bonuses. And you can use crypto to make those WAGERSs. YouTube dinged us for having a gambling sponsor. I just don't understand it. I thought it was legal. I mean, it's legal in most states, and why can't you have they sponsor us? So read it on the bottom. Deposit bonus is pretty big too, up to I think $1,500 right now. Don't quote me on that. Let me pull them up real quick and see if that's what it is. Yeah, but we got dinged by YouTube for that. Oh, you get bet back bonuses too. My mom is sending me a text. Thanks, mommy. I got the bet back bonus going right now, but if you use the promo code, they will match your first deposit. Courtesy of North American Talk Radio. And what just happened? Well, what just happened was we came back December 18th. It's kind of a soft rollout. Talk some politics. Obviously, sports. I love sports. I'm the gamble guy, so, But now, thanks to places like Kalshi and even my Robinhood account, you can gamble on anything. The prediction market, I just saw an article today. The prediction market's going to explode, right? So you can predict the next president, the next Democrat candidate, everything. The next stock to hit big. You can gamble on the prediction market. So Gamble Guy really doesn't have to be just sports. And I'm promising you, when the Falcon joins me on this show after New Year's, we definitely will not be talking just sports because he's got a lot on his mind. There you go. He'll be here after New Year's. Thanks for tuning in or watching this on replay, whatever you had to do. What just happened? I got to go. Whew. It's a lot of talking for one man. Peace.